In 1540, Francis Drake, the legend, was born.
First name Francis, last name Drake. Dropping all the Spanish, boy, this a piece of cake.
From day one, Drake was a high roller. He didn't let anyone cross him and get away with it. From the slums of Tavistock, UK, your boy Francis rose up. Born to a Protestant farmer family, Drake was raised by his father Edmund Drake and his mother Mary Maywell. From the fields he groomed on his father's farm to his family's persecution for their Protestant beliefs, Drake was battle-hardened and prepared for his rugged life ahead.
It may not mean nothing to y'all, but understand nothing was done for me, so I don't plan on stopping it.
Drake scored when he married Mary Newman in 1569. Sadly, though, it didn't last long because your girl died on him.
No need to fret. Your boy wasn't a bachelor for very long. He married Elizabeth Sydenham soon after.
Hallelujah!
Don't like my women single, I like my chicks in twos. And these days, all the girls is down the road.
In 1568, Drake began his life on the sea.
He was an ambitious young sailor looking for money and glory. He first went to sea when he was around 18 years old with his cousin, the Hawkins. Drake's career as a sailor was catalyzed when he obtained command of the Judith.
Now that he had his own ship, he started the slave trade from Africa to the Americas.
This is Francis Drake, and this is my adventure to the Americas.
Drake illegally brought African slaves to Spanish America. It wasn't long until his soon-to-be nemesis, the Spanish, were hot on his tail, looking for blood. The two groups met at the port of San Juan de Ulloa in modern-day Mexico, and thankfully our hero was able to escape the clutches of the Spanish. This incident was the basis for Drake's deep hatred for the Spanish Empire.
Like we said in the beginning, Drake doesn't let people cross him and get away with it. He vowed to get the Spanish back for the crimes they had committed. His enabler was Queen Elizabeth I. Drake went to work causing chaos at Spanish ports all over the Americas.
In 1573, Drake joined the French buccaneer Guillaume Le Testu in an attempt to raid a valuable Spanish convoy. They successfully obtained 20 tons of gold and silver.
Unfortunately, the Testu was captured during the raid, and later he was beheaded.
The surviving pirates were forced to bury their loot because the Spanish were hot on their tails. Elizabeth I sent Drake on another expedition against the Spanish along the Pacific coast of the Americas. After looting the Cacafuego, Drake sailed north where he was met by the Spanish. He had to escape to the infamous Drake's Bay, where he lost the Spaniards.
Way up. Turn it all up. Yeah. Look, I got enemies, got a lot of enemies, got a lot of people trying to drain me of my energy. They're trying to take away.
While hiding from the Spanish, Drake encountered the Native Americans living along the coastline. When it was time to leave the bay, Drake left some of his crew members to colonize the area. This was a key event in the establishment of a European culture in the Americas.
Drake was the bane of Spanish existence, and Philip II had finally had enough. He called for Drake's head, but Queen Elizabeth had a different idea. She personally knighted him, making him Sir Francis Drake, a huge middle finger to Philip's bearded face.
Started from the bottom, now we're here. Started from the bottom, now the whole team here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. Started from the bottom, now my whole team here.
Added on top of the already growing tension between the nations, this was the last straw for Philip. He then decided to declare war against England, the beginning of the Anglo-Spanish War.
With the Spanish Armada on the way, Drake and a couple of other dudes planned their defense.
Guys, I have an idea. Let's just light all our ships on fire.
What? Are you kidding?
And then we'll send them all at the Spanish. Yeah.
Let's do
Yeah.
They did just that. This caused the majority of the Spanish ships to break formation and sail out into the open sea. This secured a narrow victory for the English over the Spanish.
It was horrible. It didn't work.
No.
Drake continued to wreak havoc across the ocean into his mid-50s. One day, a boy was sitting on his boat when he got hit by a cannonball.
Drake survived the cannonball, but later he died of dysentery. Drake's crew put his body in a lead coffin and threw it in the ocean. His metal grave still lies on the ocean floor. Francis Drake shaped world history through his naval endeavors, as his actions prompted the shift of power on the world stage.
Leading up to this point, the Pope had given the Iberian powers sole control over the Americas, but Francis Drake ended that. Through his plunders of Spanish treasure, attacks on Spanish ports, and captures of Spanish ships, he helped to establish British naval domination in the New World, especially in North America. As a result, the British gained holdings in the New World, which led to the American colonies and thus the creation of the United States.
Drake's antics and Queen Elizabeth's support of his actions prompted the Spanish to square up. This was their big mistake, as their loss in the Anglo-Spanish War began the decline of the Spaniards as a world power, which the effects of are still seen today. In addition, Drake was one of the first to ship African slaves to the Americas, the beginning of an industry that lasted well into the 19th century and had a huge impact on the turbulent course of American history.
Drake's convenient landing on what is now California and his subsequent circumnavigation of the globe helped open up the world of the Pacific to the Europeans for exploration, colonization, and trade. Okay, dude, I want to be there 5:36.
Last name ever, first name greatest. Like a sprained ankle, boy, ain't nothing to play with. Started off local, but thanks to all the haters, I know G4 pilots on a first name basis. In your city, faded off the brown. Nino, she insists she got more class. We know, swimming in the money, come and find me. Nemo, if I was at the club, you know I
You need it?
All right, let's go.
Can you take this?
No. What? I will later.
Let's go.
Wow. How long do I get to the
Lay back on it.
We'll just have some hardcore, like, Pirates of the Caribbean music in the background. Dun, dun, dun.